already know here on this little Coyote Medicine show we call Spring Crick, don't you know? From the beginning and then some, baby. In that multi-dimensional presence soared away, beginning to realize we're the wooden ships, the sails and the breeze that empower 'em, the captain and the crew and all the people on it too, baby. And we are surfing the high waters of the high seas, baby. Ooh, the high seas of life, the high seas of love. And babies, we're not stopping for anything or anyone except those we throw a little life preserver out for when we see they're in trouble, man. Now those we're going to stop for. 'Cause, you know, babies, it ain't like back in the 70s when everybody was trying to get away from life and become something other than mainstream. Oh my goodness, there was a bunch of us back in the 70s that just knew that, man, the mainstream just wouldn't do. Well, in fact, it even started happening in the 60s, and the 50s, and, you know, as soon as we were born, whether it was 50s, 40s, 60s, whatever, we just knew better. We were born knowing better, you know, and basically in opposition, oh my gosh, to the world around us. Hey, you got Grandpa Coyote here, along with his faithful, loyal wonder dog, Oki-Wan Kenobi, and a whole cast and crew, too, including the likes of you, babies. Mystical as all get out. Oh, darlings, we're just starting out here on this Hazy Radio network, man. HazyRadio.com. We got it on, especially early in the day when your old Grandpa and Oki come out to play, along with you mystical angels and angels and all that stuff, okay? Wow, you guys are hot today. I can feel it. I know there's a gnarly edge out there today. I'm seeing it all over my Facebook and other places, too. A few people just, ain't ready to give up the judgmental attitude, you know. You got a lot of ingratitude going on. Haven't learned to appreciate their life just yet. But, that's why we're here, babies. If we can get you to rock and we can get you to roll, then maybe we can get you into heart's flow, baby. This is why we put so much musical tunage to work here for us on this Hazy Radio network early in the day. Yes, indeed, here at Spring Crick, wouldn't you say? Ooh, because every time you hear these tunes, man, these gifted little angel musicians bring a whole new message to you, don't they? Another level, another way. It's trying to help you catch on to the rhythm, the beat, the bass beat, the harmony in life, man, so you won't destroy yourselves and instead will embrace yourself and stop being such a bunch of picky, it's all me and not you kind of thing, man. I mean, shit. We all, deal with these kind of issues. But it's only because we haven't seen yet the loving way. Not in its full presence, not till today. Maybe in the right now of and how, and the and how of right now. Maybe we can do it now, okay? I sure would appreciate it if you just, say to yourself right now, screw it. I ain't taking this shit no more. I'm sitting down here right now and I'm not moving until I am a lean, mean love machine. Or can live that way for the rest of forever, too, man. See, that's what you need to do. It takes that kind of resolve to get you through. Now, see, long time ago, I made a commitment to my heart. I didn't even know that's what I was doing. But I just said to myself, when I was a tiny little critter, maybe 2 or 3 years old, just barely getting into the world and out of the old one, which is and the new one, which is the beginning right there at Spring Crick. How metaphorical it all is, and how real too, baby. Got a little everything built into it, don't it, I'd say. But I made that commitment to myself in the way back when. I ain't taking this shit. I ain't gonna live like this. I'm not gonna be what, quote, quote, they want me to be. I'm not gonna cave into this reality. Oh, I was so relieved. After going through all kinds of hell in my childhood, because I was a rebellious little shit. You got to be to survive in a Nazi world, as a lot of you are finding out. And maybe that's why there's so damn much anger out there. Because everything we've known in our heart before about all the evil and nastiness in this world is being brought to light. For example, I posted a little one this morning about something I just heard about. But, it kind of reiterates what a bunch of us already knew in our hearts. One of the MI5 guys, who's now on his deathbed, of course, and doesn't give a shit anymore, come out and said, okay, I'm the dude that killed her, man, and even got a little more specific about that, etc., Well, gee whiz, that set off a little firestorm with some people. you know, because they still haven't let go of the victimized thing. You got to understand the sacrificial nature of our lives to begin with, you know. Some people have said something like, well, she knew it was coming, because she was kind of like me, only in a royal family. I was in some little farm family, you know, but I had a certain standard I was expected to meet, a certain path I was supposed to follow, and it involved a lot of Mormonism and business. And it was just, the whole world of that was disgusting to me. I'm sorry, you know, and really, in my younger days, I rebelled mightily. I hated that shit, you know. I finally learned to make some peace with it. Just as you will too, because if you stay hateful, it'll kill you. It'll wear you down to it. Because, man, as long as you see these people as vampires, they're going to vamp you. Because you're creating that energy just by being angry towards it, see? But if you see that in the world, take a look inside of yourself. What is that reflecting in the outer world that we got to settle inside, see? And you'll find it's the very thing that makes you angry. You know, not the hypocrisy, not the evil nature, but the anger inside that just hates that shit, see? You have to go past that, see? Because when you're hating that, you're hating yourself, because you're a part of all of that too, like it or not. Call them reptilians, call them what you will. Non-human SOBs, etc., etc. That's all nonsense, and you know it. Life is alive in everything, and it's the same life that's inside of you. The same life is in everyone and everything too, man. We're all just coming to see and accept that. And baby, if you don't think that'll change your way, you see, if you can see the love in the hateful things that have gone on around you, if you can embrace the truth because you know it's coming to light so it doesn't happen anymore. And people such as myself won't be tormented for bucking the system. And neither will you, see? Oh, baby, it's been a tough trail if you buck the flow here, hasn't it, you see? That's why it's so hard for people to see beyond the 3D, because we've been stuck in this loop, this cycle. Most of us here on this radio show, are like, rebellious sorts. We see through the bullshit, the nonsense in the world, let alone all the evil shit that goes on in the background. Just in the foreground, bad enough. People mistreating people right and left. People without heart, without compassion. People so deeply in pain they've gone numb to everything and everyone and have become controllable little robots that pretend to lead the people on into further darkness, more pain. Do you realize, if we weren't here right now doing what we're doing, opening up, that there would be a World War III, and it would be a tragedy. It would destroy all of the people and most of the planet. Take a long time to come back from that without a whole lot of help from the universe around us, which, of course, the universe is a good neighbor. And if we blow it apart, it's going to put it back together one way or the other. Only you and I won't be there to enjoy that new paradise that's created there. We'll be gone somewhere else because we ain't learned our lesson yet, see? It's all about peaceful people becoming peaceful and therefore expansive and powerful in this loving way. See, as long as you're hateful towards it, doesn't mean you can't be angry, but there is a difference. When you're hateful toward them, when you're calling them a bunch of low-life lizards and stuff. I mean, you've heard me make such slips here, Nobody's quite got it there yet, but we're all getting there, see? And this is part of the recipe, part of the formula. It's not to hate that shit anymore. It is what has been. It ain't right now. Right now, all that matters is what's going on inside of us as a person. All of us gathered here in this Vibe Tribe on the Hazy Radio Network in the morning part of the day. All of us across the earth that are feeling it just the same, tuned into it in that other dimensional way. And then the dimensionals beyond that, the people and beings there, and all the powers and energies behind them. See, the whole universe joins in each one of us. In every moment that we live and breathe, every step we take, every thought we create, everything that goes through us, all of it. And see, that's a singular presence. That's a conscious person in everything and everyone. Kind of what you reflect in this reality in a really dumb sort of way. Now, that's nothing personal, but we don't have access, until recent times anyway, to our divine intelligence. Or if we've had access, we've ignored it. Because because we didn't really realize what it was, etc. You see, this world is going to get you caught up in one or two ways. Of course, you can go other ways, but this is the main formula for most people born here. Crack the whip over their heads, they will obey and be humble, faithful servants forever. Or they'll be fighting the system forever and caught up in that fight and all the great hatred that goes with it, and you're still feeding the same beast. The same as if you'd become a doctor, an attorney, and believed in the legal and the medical mafias and went along with the program for the sake of the money, for the sake of your hide, because you didn't want to get killed. You know, you fear death, see. But when you no longer fear death, that's why you hear deathbed confessions. When people finally get to the point they know the gig is up, well, if they're like me, they'd just soon be shot as sit around and wait for it. So they start to blab their big mouths. And of course, this is a killing fool that's worked for the government all of his life, a scientific sort that knows how to scientifically take out people. If you don't think we got folks like that over here, you got another thing coming, man. They're all over the world, and they've been doing their duty, you know. And if any of us gets too far out of line, we're next on the list. But only by the time they get around to us, we'll be so powerful, they won't be able, their assassins won't be able to do what they've come to do. That's why a lot of people like myself are still alive. I've been attacked and assaulted in negative and dark sort of ways, but I've always lived to tell about it. You know, this is the Koyote medicine through and through. It amazes me at how much we can endure, how much we can take, and hold inside of ourselves, perhaps in a hateful sort of way. It's the only way we can get through it. Resist, resist, resist. At least that's all we saw. Till that day we began to realize that love really rules here. It really does. Not the sad, sadistic kind. Just, oh, I want you and I'm going to be with you forever and all that shit. Well, that's a beautiful thing too, but that ain't love. That's only an element. That's an obsessive element, to tell you the truth. The real love says, I want you to be a blossoming flower. I want you to have the best of everything. And there's no way in hell I want to possess you. I'd love to share my life with you if you'd like to. But babies, you know, there's no obligation there at all. All I want to see is all the blossoms, all the flowers on this beautiful planetary tree blossoming and shining and sending out that sweet fragrance of the eternal, enduring love that comes from those blossoms of life. That's what I want to see in everyone. Now, these old ideas, these possessive ideas, you know, they still kick around in your thoughts and feelings, but the more you unify in the way you see the world around you, when you see the movement of love in everything. Because if it's living, it's made of love. Period. End of story. That's the way it is. Life and love are synonymous terms. So is light. They all mean the same thing. Light is life. Love is life. Life is love. Love is light, etc. You know, switch them around as much as you like. It's an old shell game, but there ain't no P underneath any one of them. You see, it's just all truth. It's one truth given three different ways in three different terminologies which describe the same creative energy. That which never gives up on life, and therefore will preserve crusty old farts like myself through all kinds of, you know, ugly shenanigans to get us to where we need to be. Because, you know, the love of this mother for her children, this Mother Earth for her children, and the mother love that is inhabited in her and her children, well, that's strong enough to see us through anything and everything. And it's proven that to us more than once. And there's been a lot of willing saints. I mean saints that are so beyond our comprehension, it's almost unbelievable. But like Princess Di, man, she come into a family that was pretty dark and pretty controlling, wouldn't you say? And learned to buck the system creatively. Because she was not a hateful person. She rebelled creatively. But of course, because she touched millions of lives, and because, you know, the rulers thought they were going to be found out, and through that little light of hers, they decided to snuff that light out. And unfortunately, they had the power to do that in the 3D, but guess what? And life's not gone anywhere. When they killed her off, they pretty much assured the planetary ascension, the blossoming planet that we're speaking of, because they re-empowered her in the mystical realms. She was no longer tied to the human existence and stuck in its drudgery and having to work it out an element or two at a time. She got it all at once. And baby, when you take out a saint, an innocent like that, you empower not only her or him, whoever the case may be, but all the angels that go with him, etc. And where life is truthfully created, which is the mystical realm, this is just a drama, a play that we live in here. And this is another element in it. But these are our heroes, because they set the example for the rest of us. They give selflessly, even at the peril of their lives. And she well knew what was coming. I don't think she quite expected it that way, but she knew well what was coming. Saints make sacrifices like this, so one, they are able to share the energy of their loving presence in a clear sort of way while they're here, and that can't do anything but grow and exponentiate itself throughout humanity. And then two, when they're taken out, they're brought back to empowerment. And the restrictions on spirit, that say you can only do so much to interfere in the 3D. Baby, it's no holds barred. Because, the other side, so-called, violated the rule. But see, what we got to see through is that even the other side, and taking out somebody like that, as sad and as savage and heartless as that might be, we're still performing according to a formula that we came to accomplish here as the saintful souls that every person that lives here is. Dogs and cats and kids and critters included, all of us. It's quite a severe sacrifice, one, to even live in a life like this. To even think to be so powerless as to be victimized by somebody or something or some power beyond yourself, or to be attacked in any way. See, now, I've been through plenty of that, babies, and I've also victimized myself quite a bit, so I speak from a position of personal authority in some ways, you see. But I know I'm relating to your heart at the same time because of the simultaneous nature of life and the energies we deal with in it. We're all basically going through the same space, the same energy at the same time, but each person has their personal application in that energy field that we're dealing. Right now, it's about the emerging harmony, because we're already merged inside. Meaning that we were never separated. We never had two sides to ourselves, or two sides to our heart, or 7 chakras, or anything like that. These were ideas and concepts we invented in our stupidity to help guide us to our way back. We had to get reunified somehow. We had to learn to see beyond the nightmare that we lived in, to see the love behind even a nightmare that would allow you to go through it without shaking you violently and waking you out of it, see? But let you go through every element until you are ready to wake up and come out of it. When you've had enough, when you've gotten all the lessons you could possibly learn from that particular nightmarish dream that you're living in, see? That's how sweet this mother love is, but it's, of course, as direct as a father's love, the sunlight. Just like in the sky, you see, that's the mother too. The mother and the son, they're the same energy. They're the same person. They're not divided as they appear to be here, just like we're not divided inside. And the more unified you become inside, the more you see unification in this reality, which little by little means the sun's coming back into sight of the life that it lives in already, so it doesn't have to project itself any longer. See, that big old sunlight in the sky is kind of like the lens of a great big old projector that projects all of this into being. See, and there is a time when the movie ends and the people begin. The audience gets up, the actors get up, dust themselves off and say, oh my God, we really got swept away in that one. And then they all go down to Joe's Bar and Grill and celebrate the Academy Awards they're going to get for their stellar performances, their astute direction and production and stuff. Writing that just could never be exceeded, etc. The high drama of life, see? And when we recognize we're addicted to that in the 3D, this high drama, well, starts to get less and less of it. The more peaceful you become inside. And this takes some meditative practices. This takes some communion in nature. This takes giving yourself the time. It takes that same kind of commitment I made to myself when I was a tiny little child. I'm not going to have it this way, and I'm going to do everything I can to change it. And my whole life's been based on that, all of it. As crazy as it's been, as insane as some of the moments I've had to live through have been, man, I've lived to see the fulfillment of that purpose right here, right now. Fully present in the 3D, see? Takes a bit of doing to get here, babies, but it's more than worth it. Look at all the journeying spirits, saints, that have come and projected themselves into these places and served in these sacrificial roles. Now, these are the obvious and visible ones. To tell you the truth, every life is a sacrifice. Just being here in the baby child presence, extreme sacrifice. Because spirit souls don't have to do this. And they don't have to go through this. There's no requirement that we do. It's simply the elements we've chosen to live in, part of our own spiritual education. A space we decided on right along with our mother love and our father too, inside of the mother love, see? Weak representations of all of that here in 3D, he says in a comical sort of way. But oh my goodness, you know, even as dumb little humans, our love had to come out and play. The most evil person has a loving person in their life somewhere. Even if it's just somebody they love to hate intensely, it brings their love out, see? We're made out of it. We can't help it. So even in our superficial hatred, which really is an energy you can't hold, because it does destroy you in this life, but it recreates you in the other one, so it's all cool. See, that's another one of those sacrificial roads. And if you're one of those who got eaten up by the hatred, bless your daggone self. And don't go shoot nobody. Just let yourself fade out like you're supposed to. Okay, and you'll come back to life on the other side. Baby, there'll be a grand reunion for you. Just like there is here and now in this 3D. We're starting to gather together all of the energy of the living throughout the universe, throughout the stars and creation, way beyond our personal little universe, way beyond Mother's universe, way beyond anything we ever knew of in this 3D world. We live in it all, babies. We know all of that life. And it's predictable because it's all in the harmonious flow of the grand rock opera we call life and living and going through it and getting to it and all the activities and behaviors in it. All of them have their own particular frequency and resonation. All persons, all moments, all places, all beings and presences, everything. You know, the grasses of the prairie sing that kind of violinish tone in the wind, don't they? Well, that's where you hear it here, and that's but a whisper and a shadow of what that grass is really singing. Just the prairie grass. You know, see, you're starting to get acquainted with a whole new world. First inside of yourself, but then all around you in the 3D, it'll reflect back to you, too. We're a multidimensional presence, all of us. All of this life here that pretends to be this Mother Earth. Yeah, and I said pretends to be because, you know, Mother Earth is so much more than this, the same as we are. As we're beginning to see, that's the lesson we learn in 3D, man. You know, you never get out of here until you find that harmony, until you find that heart voice inside. I call the flow that sings that song, don't you know? And is a part of the grander harmony of everything. I mean, shit, guys. Where do you think rock and roll came from? It's a shadow, a suggestion of our reality, of the true symphony that we live in. As grand as it can be, especially when it's modified and amplified and all that good shit, don't you know? There's sure been some great presentations here in the world of rock and roll, hasn't there? And many of you have been swept away by it. Many of you have been empowered by it. You know, you start to realize what's really going on here. And it's not about rock stars and rock and roll and medicine for your heart and soul, though that's all part of it. It's about the sharing of the greater perspective. Spring Crick, the place where it all begins. Once you level out and return there, you see it all so clear, because you're looking at it right from where it begins. And you see it all the way throughout life. Like you're the center of the rock and roll band. You're the bass drummer, the bass player, as the case may be, the center, the driving vibrational harmony, the tribal harmony that gets everything going, see? That's a Spring Crick kind of moment. Thank you for coming here and living it with us today, man, in that hazy radio sort of way. Now you're starting to see what can really be here in that 3D. Oh, baby. We got to let old Tog run and take it away. As we're getting in really deep right now. Ooh, I feel like, beside that, I feel like wiggling my bum and challenging my soul a little bit. Get this old heart back into the rhythm of some crazy-ass rock and roll. Here on the Hazy Radio Network with Grandpa Coyote, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and a whole mystical crew, including the likes of you. You didn't know you was on the crew of Spaceship Love, did you? Well, you are, babies, man. Just come on over here. We'll do some certification, okay? Spring Crick, baby, the place you always wanted to be. That's where you have to. Oh, baby, if that little piece of tunage don't float your boat, there ain't much on this earth that will, I'll tell you. Baby, Mississippi Queen, there ain't much better than anything that floating machine can be. Baby, just like rolling on the river with old proud Mary, wouldn't you say? Babies, you get it all here in a multi-dimensional sort of way, 'cause it's Spring Crick, coming to you from high in the Rocky Mountain sky. Yeah, 9,000 feet. We got the space fleet, man, the Spaceship Love, ready for takeoff as soon as you are, love. So come on over, man, and let's hang out, baby, 'cause I think it's about time. Oh, there you are. Oh, welcome back, baby. It's good to have your heart here. I've been missing you so. Don't you know? It's like fresh roses blossoming in the summer, man. It's just beautiful and fragrant, too, baby, just to be united with the likes of you. Oh, Grandpa loves you so, I tell you. Here on this radio show with Rays and Rays of Love, don't you know? Coming to you from 9,000 feet high in the Rocky Mountain sky through that Spring Crick, the place of beginning, the place where you've always been, he says, as he's grinning his way through another little soliloquy too, with you. Here, baby, we've been searching for it, man, and it's always been right where it's found, right there inside. But you got to get your feet on the ground, run around, have a little fun, get burnt by the sun a couple times or two, and, maybe, I remember one time I went out water skiing when I was just a young buck, 19, 20 years old, spent the day out there on the lake, not thinking too much about it. Oh, my little white, skinny little toothpicks were red and passionately so. Oh, it was a mess, don't you know? Now I know better, man. If you ever do get a sunburn, here's a little rock and roll tip to make your life hip, baby. Right here on the Hazy Radio Network with Grandpa Coyote, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and a whole raft of, wizardic and goddess types tuning on in here today. Oh, goddesses, I love you so. Thank you for being here on Hazy Radio. So here's a tip that'll save your skin. That's always been, and you probably didn't even know, because it's been around for 2,000 years or more. I bet you 3 or 4, baby. Yeah, I bet it is 4,000 years or so. But anywho, here you go. Olive oil. Extra virgin, and make sure you get the good kind, not the superficial kind. You got to be able to vibe them out there on the grocery store, supermarket shelf, or perhaps at your little corner grocery store or farmer's market. Get the fresh stuff from the producers if you're fortunate enough to live down in California, where such a thing is possible, or over there in Greece or Italy, or, somewhere around the Mediterranean there. Got lots of little olive plantations there, eh? Well, anyway, that'll save you. If you got a burn already, put it on there, man. It'll rectify that burn in a hurry, and you won't go through that scaly, miserable stuff like I did when I was a kid, darlings, and it's all good to use a little of that on your skin every day if you want to keep it in a soft, sweet sort of way and keep your youthful looks and charms for as long as possible. I mean, until we're all transformed and we're all beautiful anyway, because we finally see it. See past the illusion of the dispassionate heart that says one is more beautiful than another, or one is more right, or more loving, or more caring than another, or one is a satanic son of a you-know-what, baby, and maybe rightfully so, but how do you know? See, it's just, you're passing judgment on everything mentally as you go through it. You scroll through your Facebook feed and where you see all kinds of judgmental shit flashing at you, man. You're going to get swept up in that garbage, or you're going to be like okay with all of it because you know how to change it. And you are changing it just by being at peace with all of that. See, that's the taste of Facebook, don't you see? The test of it too, man, because that's what you're there to get through is all the bullshit. Now, you notice if anybody's too negative or dark on any of my pages, I just delete the comment. If they get persistent, I send them away. I don't like doing that, though, because, you need... Every heart's got to be united here, and those are sometimes the hearts in the most pain, and they can't help but express it and try to expose it to others and make them carry a bunch of it for them, get reactive, reflective, and all that good shit, Well, they don't realize the solution lies inside, and until they're exposed to a lot of enlightened folk, they may never take the ride, see? So, unless they're really ignoramuses and, like I said, are real persistent in their negativity, then I keep it, I take the comments down, but I keep them around because I want them to see what reality is, you see? And that starts first with backing away from the judgmental attitude of the day, whatever that might be, whether it's looking down your nose at our crazy-ass government in one way or another, or down your nose at your neighbor, or anyone else that you feel in some way superior to, or threatened by, or whatever. You see, that's all based in some kind of social insecurity. And you don't get a monthly check that way, darn it. What you get is, living hell. And who wants to live there? I'd rather have a little slice of paradise while I'm here, wouldn't you? Ooh, slice or two. Come on over, honey. Oh, I'm bad. But I'm your old granddad. I can kid around a bit and not really mean it, I mean, it's just being flirtatious, man. When you grow up in the hippie generation, well, gee whiz, I'm telling you, we were so free. I've never gotten over it, don't you see? And so I'm still a little flirtatious and a little obsessed with that reality. But, the real side of me says, okay, baby, have it your way. And that's what I aim to deliver to you right here, right now, today, in this moment of time. Have it your way, baby. We always admire the mother energy in whatever form of representation it might take. And while we might disagree sometimes with the outward human manifestations in some ways, the vibrations we're in complete harmony with. You see, we don't live in the drama of the 3D. We live in a reality. We know what's there inside of every feminine representation there is here, which includes all the masculine too, babies. You're over 50% feminine because you are a living replication of your mother too, even though you got something that dangles from your nose or something like that. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Whew, I tell you. These ideas of division have been so deeply embedded into our unconscious presence that we just take it for a reality and we start defending our gender or building it up or coming from that fearful place, not even realizing that we're reacting to our own pain. And there's some kind of resentment built into that. God, I hate being a woman. God, I hate being a man, etc. Stuff like that is there. Despite all the sparkly dewdrops you sprinkle over the top of it, along with a little sparkly magic dust, eh? I mean, you must be a pixie fairy. Well, I'm sure you are, baby. Every presence alive has elements of that fairy-like energy, because that's angelic, man, given in miniature and mischievous form. Here, you're going to see a few fairies, but I'll bet they're right there around you. I bet there's a wooded place right there in your backyard, or maybe just a mile or two down the road, man, Maybe in a park even. You never know, baby. They like hanging out in mischievous places like that. I tell you what, you want to know where the fairies are? Follow the coyotes, man, because they tend to run together, not always, but they tend to run together because they're in mutual communion of heart. And the fairies kind of watch out for the yotes, and the yotes kind of watch out for the fairies. It's a tribal kind of thing. It's historical, baby. A well-known fact in some circles, but, a bit of the divine revelation of love you get here day after day in that hazy radio sort of way at Spring Crick. Getting that fresh drink of water, that original water, man, stuff that brings it all clear, man, right here. how can you refuse? Well, I guess you can if you want to, but that just means you're being more ornery than you need to be. Because I'm just a little old man, fall down on his face every now and then and have to get back up and get on the road and just get with it, don't you know? I found out from all these years and years of life's experience, of which I feel like I'm still a dang teenager, but I found out I was really durable goods. I had good angels for one. Man, saved my bacon so many times, you know. Here I am, just for example now. You know, this is something simple, but it's real as all get out, you know. I'm down there doing my laundry, you know, and I'm not in the greatest of shape, but I can do my laundry and stuff, you know what I mean? Shit. Down there doing our laundry the other day. I do it every 2 or 3 weeks, whether I need to or not. Finally forced myself to get out of here and go do it. I had to drive 54 miles to the laundromat, but I got this one I can usually get in, and it's not too busy. Sometimes people will push my laundry around because I'm not quick enough, but anyway, somehow we managed to get it done. So I knew the little girl that run the place, you know. She's like, you know, a modern little Madonna looking thing, you know, about 35, 40, maybe 40. Yeah, 40 would be the oldest, man. She's probably 32. She's cute as all get out, you know. But anyway, long story short, she came to my assistance that day without being asked or anything. We made a little connection there. It was so sweet, so pure. But, you know, one of my biggest hassles with laundry is folding that shit. And she can do it like, you know, blink of an eye. So, you know, I give her a little tip, man, along the way. Little hug, say, thank you, baby. You know, I just see, but what I mean about angels, they're everywhere. If you just let them be there, see? So all you got to do is just like I was, just be present. Don't be angry because you had to go do your laundry finally. Take your dog for a walk. I mean, do what you got to do, baby, you know, and just see it through. And as long as you're in a pretty good attitude, people will respond to you in a helpful sort of way. You'll bring the angelic forward in the human beings around you. And some of them, now this girl I think is like that for everyone. She's just so sweet. I mean, you run into these little angels here and there throughout this reality, and they're usually in some hidden away place like that. Little ghetto-ass laundromat. But beautifully so. It's rocking, it's rolling. I love that side of life too, man. I love it all. See, I think she does too. I think she's one that sees past the comedy of the 3D, probably intuitively, but oh my goodness, I tell you, see sweet angels everywhere if you just let them be. Just like I encounter with you each day here on the radio show we call Spring Crick, don't you know? I just get in the same flow, get these hearts together, don't you know, and just, you know, grin like an alligator with a gazillion teeth, man. We're just so doggone happy, so doggone pleased to be able to rock and roll and feel the medicine of our hearts united in the flow of that rock and roll in that multidimensional presence we call creation, baby. You know, we enlighten the atoms and regenerate the molecules and shit like that with this little bit of tunars, and we got the rock and roll stars from every place across this reality, man. They're all coming together here in the 3D. Most of them come from the past, but some of them are still here, man, at last. Well, guess what? They all are, man. None of them go away. Long as the music's alive, so are they, okay? And so are we, too, man, coming back to life in the way that we always knew we should, because we knew we could. We were born knowing that in this life, weren't we? Yeah. But then we got clobbered and said, oh, shit, give up, give up. No way, baby. You know, and here we are on the other end of that. Maybe you're 22 and been through it already, man. And you know, you can say to yourself, wow, ain't going to journey like that no more. I'm going to stay in this here love and flow. I'm going to be the rock, rhythm, harmony of the rock and roll. I'm going to stone them so high, man. They're just going to fly, man. They're just going to be, you know, happy to be around the likes of me. Because I realize I'm a liberator. I'm here to set them free. That's what you say to yourself, your own little heart, don't you see? Give up the willful attitude that's so protective. Let go of all the guardianship you have over your heart and your knowing presence, too. Let go of the fear that says you can't be there, dear. You got to be fractured to get anything here. Well, babies, you know, this much is clear. If we ain't together, we ain't never getting it, dear. So now our moment is here, at last. And we don't have to go slow or fast. We just do as it occasions us to. You see? Just go with the flow. The rhythm of the rock and roll. The harmony of your heart, don't you know? Oh, and you'll be so satisfied, baby. You just like, wow. You'll never be lusting after another soul again, but you'll want to love every one of them. Just nuzzle them up and just hug them and just, squeeze them and name them George and take them home and put them in the doghouse and stuff. I mean, shite. You'll be so in love with life, man, as you realize what you're made of. That's the unifying force that does away with, what do we say? Remorse, baby. That's what. We got no regret, even though, hey, if we could do it again and have it again, we'd probably have it another way, wouldn't we? Maybe not. There is a flow to it, man. There's a lesson, there's a rhythm, there's a rock and a roll in every moment we live, every experience we pass through in this momentary sort of way. When we see it again in this higher way, well, baby, then it starts to make sense to us, even though it still seems chaotic, and impure and unjust and all that stuff, I shouldn't have lost my head in that. What about the time they burned you? Etc., etc., see? Sometimes we're even born with those old feelings. They come back to us, wait for us at the gate. We come back into the living thing in the 3D. There's all those feelings coming back to you, man. That is attached right onto you. You begin with them right where you ended before, when you were birthed back into life through death, you see. Going through these processes of what we thought was naturally, but really is living in and out of the illusionary heart, the testing place, where the heart proves to itself its own amazing durability. Its ability to see love in the most obscene of creation. To let go of the judgment held in its heart against itself and everything else. To be free to love, and in the power of that love, transform all the lives that surround you. That none are dragon-like energies anymore. They're Puff the Magic Dragon. They're just here to please, to play, down there on the shores of Honolulu, etc. You see, I mean, the ugliness we see, well, that's, by our reaction to it, we recreate it and give it life. You want to see it gone? You want to see peace on earth? You want to see governments and assholes dissolve away in a heartbeat? Or at least a little at a time. I mean, whatever it takes, baby, we're here. And whichever the way that tail shakes, that's the way we be. Shaking with it too, see, because you flow in the harmony naturally. That's how we transform it, baby. That's how we bring an end to all of this injustice, this unreality, the wickedness that goes on here, Living a little beyond the drama of it. Not getting swept up in that reactionary way. It makes you want to get a gun or dynamite or whatever. I mean, all that crazy shit. The violence. You're going to pay because you... Hey, I know that feeling. Been through it a gazillion times before, probably. But look at me now. I'm living beyond it. I don't hold anything against anyone in this reality, Don't mean I won't draw a line or two. But at the same time, I hold everybody in my heart the same way. Love, love, love. And if you don't know it, it's only because you're reactionary. You don't even recognize what creative love is yet. But if you see that, then it's okay. You'll start to catch on. Won't you, Mary J? Okay, I'm kidding you around, but everyone is Mary J. Everyone is a replication of the Divine Mother. And that's who I call Mary J, because, well, it's a metaphor, don't you know? But it represents the living presence of conscious truth. The base love in everything that lives. When you see this in yourself, when you see all of your parts united, no matter what's going on, when you see beyond the drama of the 3D, and beyond the pain that it creates, you release yourself to be free, to live naturally. This is the gift we've given ourselves here. This is the gift we're sharing right now in one of those spring crick kind of ways, baby, because it's one of those days. Tripping 2 is 1 day. Yeah, Tuesday, man. The day that the 2 is 1 becomes more than just fun. I mean, you start to see yourself in this whole reality. And you give up the obsessive behavior in the process. And while you'd think you might love one more than another, you can't. One of my exes told me that a long time ago. My second wife, she said to me every time not every time, but a lot of times I'd say, "Baby, I love you." She'd say something to me like, "You love everybody." I couldn't argue or fight with that. It's true. You know, I don't care who they are, what they do. I love everybody. That's how I get past my judgment, that I hold on myself. Because you can't love anybody if you don't love yourself first and foremost, and all parts in this person. All the objectionable details that go on inside of yourself. The little gnarly fight. You know, it just ain't right. That's the illusion. There's one energy in your body that unites all the parts of it. It's love. That's what you're created of. Each one of us. All of us. You know, even my little doggy. Even that little lizard just crawled across your floor. Scared dickens out of you, didn't it? Now don't be screaming at the dragon no more. It's safe. It's tame. The days of, us being preoccupied with the resistance of nature are through. And now what we get is a more natural nature than we ever dreamed possible. Then it begins as you resolve this scheme inside of yourself. You let yourself go with the heart's loving flow. You see that there is one energy, one united life. Yes, there's lots of different parts, fingers and toes and boogers out of your nose and all this other stuff that makes us human. But it's a united effort, working together. I mean, just look when you're talking to people, your shoulders hunch up, you get expressive with your hands, etc. You see, there's language beyond language. There's union in that language because we're acknowledging ourselves in all that exists and giving up our obsessional ways. The only obsession we have now is to live creatively, to love as love is, and see love coming back to you from every person, everything, every presence in this reality, all the colorful nature of it too, all of it, glowing that love back to you. And baby, that brings you to the ecstatic state. You can't be more loved than that, for that is the unity of all love. And the purity of it too is innocent as all get out. It don't even believe in this drama in the 3D. You have, but you will no more as you rise up in this conscious presence, united in the center presence of your own person. That's the power of love, given from 9,000 feet above through the heart of my little coyote friend here, Mr. Obi-Wan Kenobi. No, he's not a real quote coyote. He got the coyote nature in him as a dog, same way I do as a human dog. Woof woof, don't you see? Oh darling, now you know why I howl sometimes when I see the presence of you. I just can't help it. You guys make me so happy, all of you. It's good to see it whenever, whatever, and under whatever conditions, baby, you know. Life is strange. It takes us to very unusual places. And just when you think you're halfway across the earth away from somebody, there they are, hanging out in the same place you are. Perhaps not with the same people, but coincidentally, it's a small world, don't you see? And I'll tell you why. Because we tend to hang out with the same vibration, and that draws the same vibration to you. And that's how we transform this thing, right now. In the vibration of a unified heart, we get a new start. Every moment, with every breath, with every feeling. And we find these feelings now unified. It ain't one pulling this way and one pushing that way, etc. It's all a unified flow. If you find your thoughts fragmenting again, just chuckle a little bit at your own mischievousness and just settle back into it. Give yourself a moment or two. Gather it together, and there you are, see? And you can be alive and present in this 3D and still living it multidimensionally, because a lot of people doing it already. Welcome to the club, bub. Bye. About time, baby, now we know what it is to live a little bit of what we call the presence that's divine. That's the bigger person of creation. The mother love, the father love, that united in their own way on this two is one day, because they are one. They never were two. That's a representation in 3D that we've fallen into, kind of unnaturally, but a part of the test. I mean, it helped us become our best. Sometimes by falling on our ass so many times, and our face too, until we finally started to catch on. And to go with the rhythm and harmony of the rock and roll flow that we're living in, don't you know? And baby, it becomes self-correcting. Same way a good, cold, clear drink of water can bring amazing clarity to you, eh? Well, that's what you're getting again here today, in that hazy radio sort of way, through the heart of Grandpa and a whole raft of angelic, mystical type presences, baby. Ooh, we're reuniting with our family in many ways. Don't forget, June 21, which is tomorrow. Of course, we got the rock and roll radio show of the century on in the morning. And then Grandpa will see you early evening over there at Joyful Journey Hot Springs, Villa Grove, Colorado, which is a part of the greater Crestonia, the kingdom thereof. Yes, indeedy, man. Oh, all we know here is love, love, love. It's true, baby. Watch out. It's starting to come true, man. Some of the most ornery critters are settling down now. You will, too, when you come to Joyful Journey and get a touch of them magic waters. Talk about relief, baby. Not to mention that Grandpa that early evening will be doing those opening ceremonies there. You got to be there. Bring your drums, too, because we're going to have a little drumming ceremony right along with it. We didn't do everything, babies, because we are the ones we are. And we're starting to wake up to it, too, babies. Right here in the 3D, we get to see it for real, don't you see? Because that's where it starts, baby. Okay? Good to see you alive and living another day, babies. Oh, we're going to have it our way, because we already do. Right here on the Hazy Radio Network at Spring Crick. Your moment of truth from this little sound booth right here inside the 3D of Spaceship Love, don't you see?